All right, continuing on our journey of archive.php derivative pages, we come to category.php. And category.php is very similar to author.php and tag.php, which do similar things and are all different types of archives. And like these others, it could also be broken down to specific types of categories. So you could say category-ID, the name of the ID, or even the slug of it. And this can be really helpful and I think a little bit more common to do this way than the author. Maybe, maybe not, but because we didn't look at how the author broke down into author-ID and -slug, I'm going to show you with category here in this example, and the same rules apply to backtracing and working with the author. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at how we could do this in our code. So the first thing I would do is grab archive.php and save that simply as category.php. Okay, down at the bottom, we could say we're now in our category. And if we do nothing else, when we come down and click on a category and scroll down, we can see that category.php is displaying. So we haven't done anything else yet. Let's add a little bit more to this template. Okay, so we've got the archive title. That's good. Let's leave that in, but let's add one other thing below it. And that's a new template we haven't looked at, and we could, or I'm sorry, a new tag we haven't looked at that, and that is category description. Now, where am I getting all of these from? I'm going to come back in the next section in template tags and talk about all of these different things that we could use. Of course, we got to spell them right. So don't worry about these now. Don't get too distracted with trying to figure out all the different template tags and things like that. At this point, we're really working on the template files themselves, and we'll come back. But category description, I bet you could guess what that does. Let's go ahead and see how it works and looks. You know, we'll just throw in, we don't have any extra styling here. We could potentially put this in the author, in the bio box that we created before, but we'll leave it on its own just like that. Let's check this out. Okay, so we could see the category alignment and it's got the description there. So that's pretty good. I don't know how much else we really need to change here. So let's leave this generic as it is. And now let's break it out and do something by ID. So what I'm going to do is come into my post categories and I'm just going to click on one of these. Let's see, we've got chat category here. I want to grab the tag ID from the URL. So that's going to be 9. And now I'm going to create an archive that just works for the chat ones. Okay, so I come into category, I do file save as, and I do category-9. Now, if you were doing author, you'd look up the author ID and you put author-9. Okay, so same principle. Now, what do we want to change here? Let's change some styles. Let's move some things around. And let's start off. I have an extra class that I could add up here that's going to modify how things are displayed a little bit. And then, you know what, instead of displaying our normal header, let's go ahead and let's put in our splash one. And let's do the same to our footer. Okay, so those are some pretty big changes right there. Let's take it one step further and let's actually even get rid of this sidebar. So we're going to do a really streamlined version here of this page, and we'll throw one more thing in. Let's just add in a little message here after the archive title, and we could actually change this. Well, we'll come back and look at template tags later, but let's just add in a little message here: PHP escape HTML, and let's say space posts only. And so that's going to say chat posts only. Just, again, I don't know why you would do this, but I'm just demonstrating ways that we could customize things and how, if you really know what page you're going to be on, then you could design it specifically just for that. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this plays out. So I come to my site, I click on chat. Hey, look at that. We've got our different header. It doesn't have any links in it. It's got our sell this'em. We've got our don't forget to sign up message at the bottom, and it's styled differently. Now, all of these changes are because of the CSS. So let's hop over to the CSS real quick and take a look at what's happening. One of the main things that we could do now is category-9 is being displayed. That's not because of our template. That's because of body class. So if I come in here and I click on the codex and it's going to do category 10, you see that? So if I come into my CSS, and I search for category.9, we could see that we are styling this differently. We're going to do the same thing when it comes to tags. We'll look at that in a minute. And the other thing that we added was .excerpt. So notice that primary.excerpt is going to be a width of 100. You know what? I want to change that to extended. That should be extended. Excerpt was specific to just excerpts. So extended. Cool. Still doing the same thing. Okay. So this is where sometimes you want to edit the template, but sometimes you just need the CSS. All you would need in this case are some really nice classes, which are being added, some in the template, but also some are just coming from the main body class itself. So there are times where you could avoid having to do any custom templates just because you could do it with CSS. But if there's a lot of content that you don't want being queried and put to the page, then it's just simpler to do a nice clean query. A nice clean template. So this is how we would do this for a category where we are pulling it in by ID. And let's take one last look. We'll make this quick. Now let's put in category-excerpt. So this was the one where we're grabbing it by slug name. If we come into our post categories, we could see that excerpt is one of them down here. And rather than grabbing it by ID, which is 15, we're going to grab it by the slug. Okay. So we can leave that the same, but let's go ahead and we'll take out the splash for this one. But we'll also leave out the sidebar. So we'll have different header for this one, but it'll still be full width because it's extended. So now if I come in and check this out, notice that this page, I got to it by clicking on excerpt. Hey, nice and tight. And I like this approach. I like customizing certain categories certain ways, or the archive to look a little bit different so that people really know, hey, you're paying attention and this is really important content. So they go throughout your site and they come here, it shifts a little bit. Or if this is the landing page form, then you might really want to control how those archives like remove distraction, really try to help people out, think about the interface and the overall experience the user's having. So that's how we would create different types of category templates. And again, here's the fallback architecture. It starts with looking for the category slug. If it doesn't find that, it'll look for ID. If not that category, fall back to archive, etc., all the way down the road. So at this point, what you want to do, I'm just updating category excerpt here, and category tag chat was the other one. So grab open category 9, just let them know, okay, that's category 9, no confusion there. Great. Okay, so at this point, follow along with what I did. Create some different category pages, and then where the real fun is take it to your site. Think about what categories you want, think about how they might be styled, think about how they might include different information, and just know that we'll come back later and talk more about the different types of things that you could get, like category description and otherwise. But for now, just go ahead with our theme that we're building, catch up to where we are, follow along, and then also in the own theme that you're building, go ahead and add in some category archives. I'll catch you in the next lesson where we look at the same thing but using tags.